Here's now basically now for those who don't remember this movie, Black Hole. The plot was basically about this spaceship called the Saratoga. Yeah, the Saratoga or Saratoga. That's why it was a Saratoga. That basically they're on a rescue. Basically, they received a distress call from a ship called the Cygnus. Distress call from the Cygnus from a ship called the Cygnus. No, Palomino. That's what it was. The Palomino. I just couldn't remember what it was. Now, when this movie came out, this movie did get a few bit of promotion. Yeah, 21 Bit Migo, where it had robots that actually used like magnets, but those are I think kind of released by a later company. Yeah, the 21 Bit Migo. You had a comic book adaptation. You also had a comic book sequel that took place after the events of the movie. You also had a book and record adaptation, which was very common which was very common back in the day. Basically, fun fact, this is actually Yvette Momoa's second time in a science fiction film after the Time Machine. Famously, she actually had to cut off her trademark long blonde hair because there was thought that long hair in zero gravity would just be everywhere. Now, Yvette Momoa, I believe, is a French actor. I want to say it was a French. Now, now, this movie, of course, yeah, I want to order Bergheim was in this movie. Maybe Bergheim, some of you people kind of my age range might remember him from his voice of Mermaid Man from SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, that Aquaman spoof guy. He's like a really elderly guy. Okay, I know he was meant to be more of a spoof of Adam West Batman than he was Aquaman, but yeah, I guess kind of the same thing. So you get the idea. He was like an old elderly. He was that old elderly superhero. I want to say he had a respirator or something. He was like, I know he had a walker, but I want to say he had like a respirator or something. He had like a oxygen tank because he was getting so old or something. I honestly, I can't even remember. That's all I remember. Now this movie it also starred actually now fun fact the robots in this movie they're actually voiced by Slim Pickens, and Waddy McDowell. Waddy McDowell, I'm sure some of you folks might remember as. I'm sure everyone here who grew up on old sci-fi might recognize Waddy McDowell as playing Dr. Zaius in the original Planet series. He also played the Bookworm in the original 1960s Batman TV series. He also played in Fight Night, and also appeared. He also appeared in the original. He also starred in the. He also starred in. He also voiced Mad Hatter in Batman the Animated Series. He also played in Bug's Life. Yeah, which was actually one of his last. Which, believe it or not, was actually one of his last movie roles before he died. Which was one of his last. That was actually his last movie role before his death. I believe it was actually dedicated to his memory. He also voiced a character in Godzilla the Animated Series. Now I want to say after but you know